That is a heck of a scar, Shane. The remnants of May 21st, 2010.
Yeah.
What do you remember about that day?
As I said, obviously it was quite a big deal for me to be in the squad at the time anyway, so I was just obviously excited to play for the game and that, and obviously it was just a normal little training ground game, and it was one of them just rare collisions where it happened, and from the moment where I sort of got impacted and landed on the ground, I was just sort of felt winded, and
I think that's what
Yeah.
Darren O'Dea said when the doctor was running on. Don't mind him, Doc, he's only
I
winded.
said, "Get up, you're only winded." So I'll always remember that one. And yeah, I actually did feel like I was just winded at the time though, but it was obviously a little bit more painful, and obviously I just kept gasping out of air, and then I just can't remember really anything then. And the last thing I probably remember is sitting up, and then the doctor says you'll be all right, and then I just woke up in the hospital, and then that was it. So yeah, as I said before, the doc has to remind me of everything what happened. So yeah, it's quite surreal sometimes to hear it back.
So you had no sense at all when the initial impact happened, and this, for anyone who doesn't remember, was sort of a developmental Irish squad at the time.
Yeah,
You were
yeah.
18. You were in, as you say, this big opportunity. I know your dad was even at the game. It was obviously, even though it wasn't the full international, it was out in the training ground in Malahide to pull on the jersey. What was around the senior team?
Yeah, of course, because obviously I obviously changed over as well just before, and I didn't even have a 21s game under my belt. So, and it was obviously the squad before the main squad made up for, I think there was 2 friendly games then, and obviously it was a chance to get in the squad for that as well. So yeah, it was obviously a big deal for me, and I was obviously nervous and stuff as well. So the game was going all right, and then it was just literally a deep free kick, and I probably do it hundreds of times now, and nothing happened. So
and what, it was just you
so
went up for a header and the goalkeeper came out?
It was sort of similar to where I scored my first goal against Georgia, where maybe a little bit higher up, but just a ball in, and I've just gone to attack it, but the keeper's obviously just come so far out, and he's just smashed me in my ribs, and then I've had no feeling to help myself on my landing, so it was just a big bang, and that was it really. And I honestly can't remember much from it, but obviously I know sort of what happened now.
The first person onto the pitch is the physio, Kieran Murray, who seems to realise quite quickly that it's not just a case of you being winded. He then brings on Dr. Alan Byrne, Professor John O'Byrne is involved, and between them somehow they realise that this is very serious, that even though it's an absolutely freakish occurrence and they've all described it as a pretty unique injury from a footballing point of view, they somehow managed to get it together and get you to the Mater Hospital where Jerry McEntee performs the surgery. I'm sure you've heard it all back from all those around you, and like, I don't know if you're religious and you believe that this was somebody looking down on you, or whether actually you look at it and think, I have these incredibly experienced, highly educated people who were able to put their brains together and pretty much save your life.
Yeah, honestly, it was incredible. Obviously, I believe that we have one of the best medical staffs around, and the doc's been obviously a huge thing for Ireland in the last, I don't know how many years he's been there. But yeah, I'm very lucky, and I always tell them that how grateful I am for being there on the day for me. And honestly, if it weren't for them, if we were away in some other different country maybe where we didn't have the facilities or the hospitals to do the procedures what we had to do, it was it could have been so different. So they had everything, and they made so many quick calls and the right calls in so short space of time. And as I said, I'm grateful for every one of them. And as I said, they're now, like, it could have been a completely different story if it weren't for them men. So
far more frightening probably for your dad Brian, who was there. Was he at the game because he knew you were excited and he just wanted to see you pull on the Irish jersey?
I think sometimes he's just an Ireland fan anyway, so obviously when his son's playing, and obviously it was Trapattoni as well, and we were all Ireland fans, so it was also a big deal for him, and I don't think he doesn't miss any game really. So yeah, it was frightening for him, but probably more for my mum because she was in Derry and
She got the call.
she had the call and she had to travel obviously from Derry to Dublin, and she was just sort of waiting for a phone call really. And
Well, Alan Byrne was in with us a few months ago and was telling the story of that evening, and he was sitting near the Mater Hospital. They went to Eddie Rocket's for a cup of tea, and he was with your dad, your uncle, and your cousin, and the call comes through to John O'Byrne, and he leaves the restaurant and he's outside pacing up and down, and they sort of know that, well, for your dad, this is the most important phone call of his life. Is it going to be a smile, or is it going to be the worst possible news? And
they all started celebrating or something.
Exactly, he said they ran outside and they started celebrating like it was Italian 19. Your dad said it was like winning the World Cup. And well, listen, like as a father, and you've kids now yourself, you'd fully understand.
Yeah, obviously it must have been. Like, as I said, I've got kids myself, and probably going through that experience for him, it's you don't know. He probably didn't know. His probably nerves were wrecked, and as I said, it's when
have
you
you spoken to him about it?
Yeah, we obviously have. I've spoken to him, and he'll never forget the day he says till he dies, sort of. So it was a big day. Obviously, everything ended up worked out all right, and I'm still here, battling away. So it's as I said, it's a story I can tell my kids. Obviously, for the outcome of it, obviously, it's for the better now. But
does it give you a greater sense of perspective in life? Because I guess at the time you're 18. You're like all 18-year-olds, I guess. You probably think you're bulletproof, you're somewhat immortal, and you're able to brush it aside and you just want to get back playing. But now that you are almost 10 years on and you do have kids, and you see how fragile these things can be, and how much success you've enjoyed over the last 10 years.
I think it did. I think you always look back probably when people talk about it, you think about it more. But probably I think, looking back, it's probably steadied me better for my career, because I just thought, listen, I might not have been here, so just go and give it everything, and you've nothing to really lose now, and sort of had that mindset going forward, and probably pushed me on in my career. And even if I did have little setbacks where I had a bad game or a bad couple of games or going through a tough time in life or something, I'd just say, let's get on with it, and couldn't be any worse than that, like. And so that was probably the mindset I had at the early stages, and I'm probably carried it on now, and it's probably helped me now for the way I am and where I'm at now in my career and my life. I've got a family and that now, and so I can always use that as an example where, listen, there's always worse things in life can happen, so you just get on with it.
You've got a good reminder anyways every time you look in the mirror every morning of exactly what you went through with that scar.
It's worse when especially if you sign a new club and you get some foreigners and they're like, what happened? And I just have to go through the whole story again.
Do you have a different story that you're the tough
sometimes.
guy, you were a hero in something?
Some sharks got some when I'm on holidays. So it's as I said before there, like even when the new younger lads come in the Ireland squad, we sit around and the doc came in the other day and the last trip and sort of told the story to the new players, and they didn't really realise it. So it was and everyone was in the room, so it was quite nice as well to share the stories. And the doc knows a lot more than me about it, so I say, Doc, you tell them, because I don't really know half it. So it's nice moments as well, obviously, because it's worked out alright for me.
The injury was described by the doctor as both a freak injury and from what they've done and seen, and obviously they do the research afterwards to see are there different ways of treating it, that from a sports point of view, it was a totally unique injury. And even with all the big collision style sports, they've never seen anything like this. A laceration of a branch of the artery, a rupturing that caused you to lose 3.5 litres of blood, 2/3 of your supply.
Yeah, I know, and it is scary thinking about it like that. But as I said before and earlier on, that I'm so grateful for, especially the hospital, the surgeons, and obviously the doctor and Kieran, and that they realised straight away that what was wrong. Like, it could have been, there was no blood on me or nothing. It was all inside. Internal, yeah. So for them to realise so quick that it's internal, and like usually if you see a hard leg break or something, you know, like, and so it was one of them. They've done an unbelievable job, and can't praise them enough and thank them enough as well. But yeah, it was freaking. As someone said, it was like being in a car crash where you wouldn't really get that in the football pitch. So yeah, it was a scary moment, and I probably weren't myself for a while on the football pitch for a couple of years, because I said I lost so much blood, and I lost a lot of weight and muscle, and I sort of went into, I was quite big then for 18, then I went into back into sort of a 15-year-old body again, where I was quite big anyway for myself, and I am a big centre half the way I sort of play, so it sort of affected me in that way a little bit. So slow procedure getting back, and that's why sort of my career's been slow going up.
One of the reasons why you've agreed to talk to us today is because of the work we're doing at the moment with the Irish Blood Transfusion Service, and you are in many ways a living, breathing embodiment of why people should donate.
Yeah.
I think it was 6-7 units of blood that you needed to keep you going when you lost your 3.5 litres. Giveblood.ie is where people can go to register and get involved. Like, I was thinking it'd be a perfect marketing campaign the next time you score a goal, that actually, when people talk about the Irish people the Irish people are inside you, that it is their blood that is inside you, literally.
It is. It's huge, and every chance I do get to get blood back, and now I always try and do it as well, because if it weren't for that, for them bloods, for someone else's blood, and whoever donates, it's like I wouldn't be here. So it's massive, and you have to sort of encourage it. I would encourage it to my family now, and I know my family do it as well now, just purely because of what happened to me, and you sort of maybe need something like that to realise, or someone close to you to realise that it's so important, because it can save someone's life, and it saved mine. So I would encourage it, and every time I get the opportunity to do it, I do it. So as I said, I'm grateful for everything, and we need to keep going and keep getting bigger and saving more lives.
What are your memories of the moment you wake up in the hospital?
Oh, I was morphine. I remember waking up.
You felt good.
I felt good, but I didn't know. I didn't know what I still done. I woke up, and I remember at the time Everton doctor was there with the doc, and I just remember my mum and dad weren't in the room yet, and then they sort of tried to explain what happened, and I was like, where is it? I didn't know, so I tried, and then they just sort of lifted. I was wearing a gown, so then they were like, and then I had a big plaster there, so I was like, I just remember saying like, can I play football again? Like, and I was like, and they were like, yeah, it's just, you've had a severe injury, and so I was like, okay, right, and then they were like, oh, don't worry about it, everything's fine now, and you're on your way back, stuff like that, just trying to reassure me really, and then obviously my mum and dad came in, and it was one of them moments. I still didn't realise what actually happened. I didn't realise how severe it was until I sort of probably picked up my phone or something like that, and you seen it all over, and then yeah, it was just, and then I got out of hospital probably a week later, and
Trapattoni been in at that stage?
Yeah, Trapattoni came in, but I weren't awake. I don't think I was awake. So, and then a few of the lads came to come down and see me from the team, and yeah, it was just surreal, and it's quite hard thinking back now, because obviously I'm on so much drugs at the time and trying to keep me pain free. So I just remember that, and I remember the doc from Everton gave me some book to read, and I was like, you're giving it to the wrong person. So yeah, it was one of them, and then I think that night I woke up, it was the Champions League final, and Seamus got promoted with Blackpool in the playoff final, so that was my earliest memories from it.
Right. Are you worried at that stage, even though the doctors have told you can go back playing football? Like, you've played at that stage, what, a couple of Europa League games for Everton?
Yeah, no, I think at the time I was playing for Everton in the Premier League. That's why I got sort of called up, and I got recalled from. No, this is after. So yeah, you're right. I played maybe two Europa League games, and it was the end of the season, weren't it? So, yeah, I weren't worried. For some reason, I weren't worried, because as I said before, I didn't realise how severe it was. And then when I could start walking and jogging again, I thought, oh, I'm back, it's okay, like. But I weren't, so yeah, and then I started more worrying when I was back early training, where I thought, oh, I don't feel right. And
in what way?
Body, mind, everything, where I felt like I don't feel the same here. And
worried about getting injured again, or just
no, I just felt
physically
physically, I felt like, well, I'm nowhere near the level I was at here, and and me and Seamus always talk about it when we do. It's like, we'll never forget we were doing the pre-season, and I came back far too early, and I just said to Seamus one day, like, I can't, like, he was doing like a light jog, and I was 100% like, and I was like, no, I need to pull out here, and then I stopped for another couple of months then, but I'll never forget that. And as I said, I was never worried until probably that stage where I was back training. I always thought, I've had injury before, maybe it takes a little bit of time, but...
And how are you dealing with that mentally then? Because
yeah,
you're still a young lad and you're still away
course.
from home. Is it Seamus Coleman? Is it other teammates who sort of rally around, keep
yeah,
you positive, or do you just need to do it yourself?
It's quite hard because when you're injured, you're really not round the lads, and I think it was more just getting on with it. I was worried because I hadn't made it like in a professional career yet, and I was thinking, if I'm not the same player, I could be back home in Derry, doing a normal job, and just all these things, and then you're thinking, oh. And then Everton were brilliant with me. To be fair, they gave me a new contract, obviously, which made me feel more relaxed. I had more security. They took me time to get back to where I wanted to be, and it did take me. It took me a few loans to go out and try and get back. And
was there a moment where you sort of can look in the mirror and go, do you know what?
No,
I'm where I want to be.
Not really, you know, because I always feel like I was just trying to improve. And I sort of forget where I was before the injury. I didn't know where my progression was really going, and probably until when I went to Yeovil and I played a full season, I thought, I feel fit and strong again now, and it's just about getting better as a footballer now, not getting better as my body, back to being strong again. So probably after that, where I felt strong again in my body, and then it was just back to where I was 18 again, trying to learn, get good at playing and more stuff like that.